If you want to know exactly how you can create an offer at any time of the year that's now going to connect and it's going to convert and it's going to bring the right types of people into your world, this video is going to be for you. I want to be able to provide you with something you've got in your back pocket that you can use, you can deploy at any point, and it's going to be something that's going to be so simple, so easy, super powerful, and it's going to be something super actionable that you can use, which is going to make you feel like, why didn't I think about this sooner? I'm Joe Parrish. I've built a highly profitable freedom business, and we now help coaches do exactly the same. Healthy profit every month, work with clients that you love, and live your dream life now and not later. That's the game that we love to play. Let's get into it. 3 big problems that coaches will bump up against when it comes to offers is, number 1, you're told to put out more offers, and you're like, great, but what does that even mean? Often coaches think that offers is a launch, or basically just saying, hey, publicly, I've got something, do you want it? Now, of course, that's part of it, but if you're doing that consistently all the time, your prospects start to switch off, they start to become disengaged, and you're like, you're literally trying to sell me something last week. So I want to show you a different and a new way so that you can now put out offers consistently, and when somebody says you need to put out more offers, you now know exactly what to do and exactly how to deploy that. Number 2, not enough people are actually seeing your offer. So you're now able to communicate what you do, how you help people, the way in which you work, you're showcasing the results that you get, and you're really just displaying, obviously, you, and you're showing up consistently, but not enough people are actually able to get to the offer to be able to actually see, well, how can this person help me, and how can this person take me to a brighter future? And therefore, you end up burying the offer, which limits people's ability to be able to put their hands in the air. Number 3, your offer doesn't align to the time of year. You've got a fantastic offer, you solve a great problem, but people go through different seasons and cycles. Different times of the year will present different problems, different feelings, different frustrations, different wants and different desires. We need to make sure that we're able to now adapt and adjust our offer that's now going to land. I want you to think about this like M&S. I love M&S. I think it's incredible. They will have different offers based upon the seasons of the year, based upon certain celebrations. We want to be able to do exactly the same. Think of it like a Christmas present that you've been given. You're like, well, I don't really want that. You unwrap it, you then wrap it back up again, and you then go and give it to somebody else. What we're doing is we're putting your offer just put into a slightly different wrapping paper that we can then go and present to the marketplace, and I'm going to show you exactly how. So as of time of recording, we are currently in July. So I'm going to frame and put together an offer that's based upon this current time of year. Now, the great thing is this works for every single month of the year, and you're going to be able to adapt and adjust, and you're going to be able to pivot based upon current seasonality, or alternatively, there are going to be celebrations that you're also going to be able to build offers around. So let's have a look at, okay, we're in the month of July at this present moment in time. The way in which you want to be able to look at our offer is, number 1, what are the problems? There are people that one person is currently bumping up against, and then we've got, well, what's the outcome? Whenever you think about the problems, I always break it down into what are the biggest frustrations, how does that make them feel? Probably should have used a red pen for that. So we want to be able to name the emotion, and then we've also got how is that currently showing up in their world, in their day-to-day. And then on the other side, we've got what's the outcome. The way in which I break the outcome down is going to be what are their wants and what are their aspirations. So what we've got to be able to consider now is, well, how are we going to get them from A to B? So let's use a certain market as a perfect example. They now feel as though that they are going into the summer months, they're frustrated because they've left summer too late. Let me use a different pen. They feel as though they left summer too late. They had big lofty goals around where they wanted to be going into the summer months, and they just feel as though that they've not been able to accomplish and achieve those goals, which is now basically making them feel, obviously insert the type of emotions. They now feel as though they're going to have to wait until the kids are now going to go back to school. The other frustrations they're going to have is going to be feeling like they're continually going around the same cycles. They're going through the motions, and they've not been able to break free of the patterns that have been keeping them stuck for so long. Their other frustrations might be that they just don't feel as confident. They haven't got the same level of energy as they would now like to if they were going on the beach. They are hesitant and they're more reserved. They don't feel confident with the summer outfit clothes that they have in the wardrobe. And that's now creating more resistance, creating more friction. And it's then stopping them from being able to really set themselves free and really just enjoy themselves without that additional heaviness that they're currently bumping up against. They are not able to really enjoy their potential activities that they're now doing with the kids or whatever it now might be, because they're out of breath and they're not. So we've got to be able to think about, well, where is that person right now? What are the biggest frustrations? How does that make them feel? Then obviously, how is that showing up in their world? And then what I want us to be able to think about is, well, if that's where they are right now, what is the opportunity? What are your beliefs? What is it that you currently stand for? How are we going to be able to create a new story, a new narrative where they can see a completely different perspective? Because whenever we're thinking about our marketing, our messaging, it's not telling somebody that they're doing something wrong. It's just simply giving them the opportunity to say, hey, here's a perspective shift. Here's a new opportunity. Here's how we're doing things. So for you, as a perfect example, it could be right now, actually, you believe, your belief is that summer is the best time to get in shape. This, I'm going to use a sun, a blue sun. something different. Summer's the best time to get in shape. Well, why? Well, because number one, the weather is obviously better, which basically means you've got more daylight, you've got more energy, and there's a greater opportunity for you to be able to get outside and get more movement in. Secondly, you're going to have social occasions for the rest of your life. So right now, if we can teach you how to be able to manage and navigate the social occasions, the travel, and all the things you've got currently going on, well, that's going to give you the tools, that's going to give you the power, and that's going to give you the knowledge that's going to serve you forever. And also, summer happens every year. So we want to be able to help you break that cycle. So going into the summer months, you're not apprehensive, it's not filled with dread, and you're not feeling A, B, and C. So you can now go into every single summer feeling like So that's how we can really think about what's the belief that you now stand for. And then we've got, well, what's the outcomes? Well, the outcomes are now going to be, obviously, what are their wants and what are their aspirations? That could obviously be X kg in terms of body fat that they've now been able to drop. That now might be a performance goal. And also what I think about here is like, who do they become? Who will they become? And what will they have that they don't have right now by going on this journey? That's, as a framework, something that you can now go and really start to think about. And this is something that can be dynamic and can be used at any time of year. So going into the month of August, their problems will alter ever so slightly going into September, October, November, December. So these will always change ever so slightly based upon seasonality and what's currently going on. Generally speaking, obviously these will be pretty similar, but there obviously are going to be some changes that we can make and we can create, and I'm going to talk about that in the next piece. And then what we've got here is we've got the how are you helping somebody go from A to B? What are their current beliefs? And then what's your belief? And the thing that I love about this is, I think Daniel Priestley calls it with or without you energy. This is where we're going. This is what we're doing. This is what we're focusing on over the month of July. Do you want to come with us? So whenever you're thinking about that offer, problem, outcome, how do you basically help them get to a better future? What are the current beliefs that they're currently bumping up against? What's the story they're telling themselves? And our goal isn't to try and tell them this is what you need to do. We're simply giving them an opportunity to be able to see a new perspective and then give them that door or that path that they can then go and walk through. So many people think that the offer is about like the guarantee or what's the urgency or the scarcity. Now, that's a part of the offer, but that's not all of the offer. So what we want to be able to now do, and this is what I call the pick and mix method, the way in which I visualize this in my mind is like when you go to the cinema and you've got the pick and mix and you're basically going to pick and choose what's now going to tickle your pickle and what's going to take your fancy for you to now be able to go and watch the film. And it's okay with then actually being able to chop and change, because different times will basically mean that you're going to enjoy different sweeties. And we want our offer to now look exactly the same. So let's have a look at the 4 levers that we can now pull when it comes to the pick and mix method. So now we've got the problem, we've got the outcome, and we've got the how, your idea, based upon the time of year or the certain celebration. We can now look at, well, what are the different things that we can now add in that will create more safety, more certainty, will be irresistible, or will now drive more urgency, scarcity, which will help them just take that next step. So the first thing we've now got to consider is urgency, scarcity. We've then got a guarantee of some description. We've then got a payment, flexibility, and we've also then got time frames. So let's have a look at these and let's look at the different opportunities that we can now apply. So urgency and scarcity, this is going to be no different from when any type of band or any type of artist now releases tickets and they're now available on a certain date and there's only a certain amount of spaces that are now going to be available. So we can now look at X time frame over the next X spaces. Now, if you're doing, I've only got 5 spaces left, only 5 spaces left, people are going to lose trust pretty quickly and they're going to be like, hey, you said that you have 5 spaces available literally 2 weeks ago. So we need to make sure that obviously we're using these sparingly, and when we are communicating this, there is a level of honesty and transparency behind it, and we're not just using it. Otherwise it will become null and void, and the potency of that is not going to be strong enough. So they're going to be the 2 things when it comes to urgency, scarcity. Now, there are other considerations and other ways that we can now jazz that up, but as a foundation, that can work perfectly. When we look at a guarantee, the second thing is going to be a guarantee. Now, a guarantee is being able to give somebody, well, if you don't get this, you're going to basically get this, which is going to create a greater degree of safety, which then is going to give somebody more confidence to be able to go and take that next step. So, for example, we could have like a 30, a 60, a 90 day, love it or leave it, depending upon obviously how long your program is. So that basically means that, let's say for example, your program is a 6-month journey, you can come in for 30 days. You can try it, you can buy it, and if it's not for you, after 30 days, we'll cut the contract and that will literally be you. That's one option that you've got. The second option could be if you don't get X result in Y time frame, will work with you for free until you do. Now, with anything like this, the most important thing that you're going to have in place is going to be certain T's and C's. We want to make sure that if you're now going to be running something like this, you want to have a set of T's and C's that are now going to protect you. Most importantly, and you're both clear around the expectations, which is going to be essential. Or alternatively, it could literally be like a money back guarantee. And again, I'm sure there are plenty of other guarantees that we could also go into, but as a foundation, that works perfectly. Yeah, which can literally be, you can try it, you can buy it, and if it's not for you, after 60 days, 90 days, whatever it's going to be, we'll literally give you we can give you a full refund. Some people will even operate from the place of like, we'll give you a money back guarantee, plus we'll also give you X cash, because I'm that confident that I can help you get the results. So it's almost like you're going to be in a surplus. The payment side of things, this could literally be that, do you know what, as of X date, the price is now going to be going up. The price is now going to be increasing. So you can now lock yourself in before the price increases for everybody else. The other thing you could do is obviously you could have different variations in terms of like split payments options. The other option you've got is like a value stack. So we've done this really nicely with one of our guys recently, where it's like somebody comes in at X price, but if they buy within 7 days, they're also going to get A, B, C, and D bonuses worth over X money. You can do it with some people where you can literally bring people straight into your back end price. So let's say, for example, that you've got a front end price, and then after the 6-month duration, 3-month duration, somebody goes then down into a kind of a back end. You could potentially, that can work quite nicely with old clients as an example. They can just bring them back in at the back end price. And you could also, of course, have like a certain type of like discount or some type of offer that you're going to be running as a byproduct. The other thing that I think works really well, especially at this kind of time of year, could be you literally get 2 weeks free. So you're getting kind of more than what you've bargained for. Where going into the summer months, we now know that you've got a summer holiday coming up, and we don't want that to get in the way and affect your ability to now be able to go and implement. So what we're going to do is, if you sign up over the month of July, we're going to literally give you 2 weeks free or a week free, whatever it's going to be. So you can go away, you can enjoy your summer holiday without now feeling as though I'm not really maximizing this program, which means we can get underway, we can make some progress, and then off the back of your holiday, you're going to be all systems go, and we're already going to be ahead of the game without you even having to worry. So we'll just add 2 weeks on to the end of your program. No questions asked. And then time frame wise, again, you can just break this down. Let's say it's gone from you've got a 6-month program. It could be a 90-day. It could be an 8-week. It could be a 6-week. It could be a 30-day, whatever. Yep, so there's different time frames and opportunities we've got in here. Now you can flesh this out as much as you want to based upon the different levers that you can pull. And then all we want to do is we want to be able to go, right, okay, well, based upon where my market are right now, what are the biggest constraints that are stopping them from being able to take action? And what could I put in place that might just potentially remove that friction and just make it easier for them to be able to go and take that next step? So as an example, it might be, okay, we've spoken about this is the problem, this is the outcome, this is your idea. So now what you're going to do is you're going to say, actually, do you know what? This time of year, there's loads of people going on summer holidays, and the biggest barrier that they're bumping up against is they've got a trip coming up and they want to be able to start afterwards. So what we're going to do is, do you know what? We're going to give them 2 weeks. We're going to give them 2 weeks for free. The other thing we're going to do, because obviously this is such a great offer, we're only going to make this available for X amount of people. And then it might potentially be that we're also that confident that we can help you get the results over this summer. You can literally pick 2 to 3. You might pick 1. It's entirely up to you. So then we now know that literally becomes your offer for the month of July. That's the problem. That's the promise. That's the idea. And then here's going to be the additional levers that you can then go and start to put into play. And then you can adapt and you can adjust and you can tweak and you could basically just make this whatever you want it to be every single month of the year based upon where they are, what they're currently thinking, and what's currently getting in the way. So December works really nicely, just as a quick example, when people are thinking, well, new year, new me, let me just get Christmas out of the way. It's not a good time to start. Well, actually, do you know what? If you now start over the month of December, we'll literally give you we'll give you the rest of December for free. So you can start in January, already now knowing that you're ahead of the game, we're already committed, and there might also be some potential kind of like OG price before the prices go up in the new year. This is going to be about what actually just feels good, that allows somebody to be able to take that next step, and it feels like a win-win. So once you've got your offer and everything's now nailed, you're feeling clear, you're feeling good, the next moves are literally going to be 2 most important things. We've now been able to build, we now want to be able to connect, and we want to be able to go and convert. So I'd love for you to be able to go and make a list of all old clients, old leads, people who have inquired before, people who are interested. You've also got your email list, if you have an email list. You've also got your WhatsApp as well. There are so many leads that people have on WhatsApp that they're not even aware of. We also have people who are currently engaging in your social media content, people who are watching your stories every single day, people who have been interacting and liking some of your posts. Then what we're able to do is we're able to now send them a really simple message, which is literally going to be, hey Joe, over the month of July, I'm launching a brand new program called the Summer Shake Up or the Summer Shape Up or whatever it's now going to be for insert type of person who wants to achieve insert dream outcome in less than insert time frame, or all without insert whatever it's going to be, thing that they think they're going to have to give up. Is this something you'd be interested in? Would you like to join us? Joe. That's literally going to be it. Nothing off the back of that. People are either going to respond to you saying, yes, I want the details, or no, thank you, or you're going to get ghosted. Completely normal. Once you've done that, all you then need to do is basically build this into either a really simple and basic VSL, or alternatively into a really simple and easy document that's now going to show them what's involved, how it works, and what are their next steps, and how they can get started. If they respond with a, yep, send me the details, you'll literally send them the details with everything that's now involved, and that's going to give them the opportunity to be able to now get started, or say, hey, I've got a few more questions, or alternatively allows you to be able to go into that connection piece and explore a little bit further. This is something you can do in private. This is something you can do at any time of the year, and this is something you can always have in your back pocket, readily and available and good to go. It works. We've used it with great success, and we've also had so many clients literally in the last 2 weeks make so many sales as a byproduct of just being able to implement this. I've had so many messages being like, I didn't realize it was this easy. And it's like, yeah, we just got to realize that once you get the offer right, you know who you're speaking to, and we're able to just present the offer in front of people. They then have the option, they have the choice. And if your marketing and messaging has been doing the heavy lifting, you've been building the connections, building the relationships, sharing and showcasing the results, you're just simply giving people that chance to be able to walk through the door and take that next step to be able to work with you. So as we spoke about at the beginning of the call, the 3 biggest challenges that so often coaches will bump up against is, number one, they feel as though that they're being told to put out more offers, but they don't actually know what that now looks like. You can now send this in private really simply, really easily, without you even having to publicly announce it. Number two, you bury the offer. People are watching and following and listening to what it is that you're saying, but they don't know how they can take the next step. This is going to be a really simple opportunity for you to say, hey, do you want to work with me? And here's now going to basically be the details of what we're doing, how we're doing it, and here's how you can get involved. And number three, it doesn't align to the time of year, so your offer is great, but it doesn't necessarily land based upon the frustrations, the feelings, how it's showing up in somebody's world, and based upon what's currently happening, based upon seasonality. We can now adapt, we can adjust, we can tweak, and we can just put this in a slightly different wrapping paper every single month of the year that's going to work with you. You've got offers that you can sell in private and also offers that you can sell in public, but the more opportunities that you create for people to be able to put their hand in the air, you've got to remember that they're going to be afraid. They're going to be scared. They're going to be skeptical. They're not going to necessarily know how to reach out. So if you can create that bridge initially, it's going to make it so much simpler and so much easier. And yes, you will get rejected. Yes, you will get no's, but every single no is one step closer to a yes. And also, if you're doing the right thing, you're delivering an incredible product. Selling is your service. We're not pushing it in people's faces. All we're simply doing is saying, hey, this is what we're doing. This is where we're going. Would you like to join us? If you want that 2-step offer, and you also want the offer document that you can now go and install and you can go and plug and play, that will help you implement this straight away, head to the link in my description. You'll be able to find absolutely everything there. And if you're struggling to know how do you start to market and create a lead generation system that's going to help people come into your world and go further and deeper and get caught up in your spider's web, so that they are now going to be warm, they're going to be engaged, they're going to have that level of trust and that level of certainty, and they're now going to know that you're going to be the go-to, go and watch the lead generation training, which is probably somewhere around here. There's going to be a button that you'll be able to press, and that will give you everything that you need to do.